empowering your life. Welcome to the Sphere. This episode is sponsored by Houston Housewives of Finance. For more information on increasing your cash flow, becoming your own money manager, and to schedule your complimentary personal finance strategy, contact the Houston Housewives of Finance today at 1-844-700-4463. Elite Dental Wellness. At Elite Dental Wellness, Dr. Ashandra Batiste understands that one of the biggest obstacles is dental fear. The vision at Elite Dental Wellness is to ensure every patient is treated with respect, ultimate care, patience, and love. Call us today to make an appointment at area code 713-789-8680. Looking to advertise? Join the Sphere's vast demographic reach of thousands of people all over the world. Send an email today to advertise@thesphere.tv or call us at area code 832-772-7789.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us for Societynow, a show that intentionally tries to invigorate, inspire, and excite dialogue that keeps us inspired in the streets and in the community. My name is Kira Laws, and you can follow me on Instagram at The Modern Day Cindy, and I have my handsome co-host with me.
Hey, y'all, what's going on? This your man, Kaylin Laws, a.k.a. Senior Wapo. Do me a quick favor now, okay? Go to Instagram, go to the Twitter, go to Facebook. Follow me at Senior Wapo 713. That's SENORGUAP 0713 because I'm H-Town. I stay down. We so ready. And I'm super excited to have some phenomenal guests in the building with us here. And when Kira and I, when we go to plan the shows, when we come and we want to figure out what we're going to talk about and figure what guests are going to come on the show, certain people always just jump out. And we have been blessed enough to be able to sit and to dialogue and to share with a lot of heavy hitters, right? Some real strong people. The Bible declares, I'm going to go there for a minute, that to give honor to whom honor is due. And when you sit amongst giants, man, you got to make sure that you put your good clothes on. And you really want to celebrate people, man. So we got a phenomenal couple here in the city of Houston doing some really dope things in a number of different ways. And who do we have?
Well, I mean, I feel like they really don't need an introduction because a lot of people already know them.
I mean, bro.
We're just trying to get on their level.
Please,
I mean,
we need some sauce.
With no sauce. Where's the sauce?
Where is it?
Where is the
it
sauce?
Ain't HEB.
It ain't an HEB, although we love HEB.
Shout out.
Well, she and he, they were affectionately known as Team Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
Yay! You better raise the roof for Team Kelly. And they're active on all fronts. They're a very dynamic couple. They're making moves in business. They're making moves in their community. They're doing a lot of things as a business couple, but also as a loving married couple. And that's something that we just really want to highlight, especially when marriage and relationships are always under attack. So I just want to say I'm so glad to have you guys. So who you have to tell us more about Team Kelly?
Yeah.
He y'all go first.
All right. Well, thank you so much for having us here.
No doubt.
Y'all are fun. The pleasure is ours. We're a team, a husband and wife team. We do ministry together, but we also work together. And he's the photographer. I am the business manager. What that looks like is, exactly what it sounds like. He gets behind the lens, and I just make sure that everything adds up, that everybody's taken care of, and everybody feels good.
She tells me what to do, and I just show up to the show.
Listen, you a smart man, brother.
I just take orders.
Listen, you are a smart Man, I tell you, that's spoken like a true, like with a bunch of wisdom, brother.
There's
Word
so
up.
much more to that though, right? It's like, okay, like, well, we can get into this a little later on, but he's like being married and doing business with one another. You know that you have to be able to rely on one another's strengths to make it work.
Oh yeah.
I think that's one of the things that a lot of people don't recognize about being a married business couple, that you cannot be in this, I guess, power struggle about roles and responsibility. You have to really defer to whoever's good at certain areas. Absolutely.
When we first started, we joke and we tell people this all the time, but it's true. I quit and I got fired so many times.
Not quit and got fired. Like
quit and got fired. It started off like that. I mean, we were learning the business and we were new to it. So now that we've got the hang of it, it's not as much firing and quitting, but we worked it out a little bit.
And I didn't mention before, but my name is TréVoy Kelly. And like she said, I am the CEO and chief photographer for TréVoy Kelly Photography. And we also do ministry together as pastors and etc. So, yes, I'm glad to be here. Thank you all for having us.
Listen, we can relate to
Man,
that.
look,
Listen,
we
people
definitely can relate.
Caitlin and I have been together for a long time, and people, I think, and when we
10
first got
years.
together, people thought there was something wrong with the fact that we do everything together.
Right.
But that's my friend. He's my best friend, and
You better shout me out, baby. That's right.
And I don't mind spending a majority of my time with him because I know that I can trust that whatever we're doing is going to have my best interest at heart, our best interest at heart. So just, tell me more about, like, I guess, the dynamics of marriage as it affects business and some of the challenges that y'all have come up across.
One of the things that I would say, the biggest dynamic in marriage, you almost mentioned it or kind of alluded to it earlier, is overcoming the emotional struggle of what happens in your personal life and not letting it affect business. Especially when you're in a service industry, you're engaging with people, you're engaging with just strangers that you've never met before. So if we have a little disagreement beforehand, we're not allowed to bring anybody else into that agreement. So when we were first getting started, that was something we had to learn. We had to learn to listen. What happens between me and you, we literally have to keep it between us and honestly be professional as a couple. We had to be professional, and then also knowing when to be personal as well, that it's okay to tell people this is my husband and it's not just a businessman. So it's just kind of blurring the lines but separating them at the same time.
I would add to that as well that it also takes a great level of humility, because you have to understand that you can't do it all yourself, and so I had to realize, because you have two entities, two people coming together who are wired differently and who have been doing things a certain way for so many amount of years. And so you're having to put away your pride and say, look, I need help in this area. So if you can assist me and I follow or I lead and I can get your assistance, we can work this thing out together. And I think that can apply to marriage, ministry, business, and things in that nature. So, Sure.
I think that's something like early on in our marriage we had to kind of work through. On my end, I was like, doing my little self-assessment, and I was like, okay, one of the areas that I need to be okay with is allowing people to help, because for a lot of things, for me, I've done a lot of stuff on my own because I had to, right? And then telling him, like, okay, these are the areas that I need you. Like, if I say, like, I need you to do something for me, I really am looking for you to help me do it, because it's just too easy for me to jump out there and do it myself, and then I start going back to, well, I'm doing it by myself, and that's just not the team mentality, of course. But how do y'all also handle, like you mentioned it, what, the perception of this married couple, because you're doing more than one thing, right? It's the business, but it's also ministry. And well, I'll talk about that in a minute. It's the business, but you're also, in addition to it, you are also active in ministry together.
Right.
So what does that look like for you guys, like in terms of balancing the demands of your work versus your work in ministry? How does that look?
Well, one of the things for me is, it's not for the faint at heart. That's the first part. I've been accused of being controlling, or we've been accused of, man, they're not healthy because they always have to do everything together. Why she got to check the email? Why she got to respond? And I'm like, if you want to respond to a text message, if you want to respond,
it got to come
email,
through me.
It has to. My gift is administration, and that's one of the things I love about our relationship is we respect one another's gifts. I don't get behind the lens. He lets me handle all of the administration things, and it just works for us. So I think what helped us in the beginning was us really knowing who we are, like what our strengths are. So when people tried to tell us what we needed to look like, we didn't have a struggle with that. We knew what we wanted to look like. We knew who we were, and it was easier for us to just go ahead and say, "Nah, we gonna stick to God's plan."
Right. And she, like she said, she has the administration gift, and so she's very stern when it comes to making sure that her T's are crossed and her I's are dotted. And people have to understand that, you know, this is the way she has it going, and this is the way that she sees it. So you need to abide by it. For me, on the other hand, I'm more sensitive to people's feelings, and so I spend a lot of time, you know, helping people and talking to people
Joling them.
and checking on them, and you know, and I can listen. I have patience, you know, with her. You know, she, you know, we praying for her patience, you know, but she, you know, she loves people and she's a talker, you know. But me, I put it like this: one of the things that we put it is that she's the person who's going to show you how to swim. I'm the person, she's going to tell you how to swim, going to tell you where to go, which route to take. I'm the person that's going to get in that water and going to swim with you.
We're going to wade in the water.
Right direction, right.
I'm not trying to get my hair wet.
but this is so crazy. So I think I'm a little bit of both of y'all, and maybe you can just join in at any moment. I think I'm a little bit of both because I will tell somebody the blueprint. This is how you do it.
Yeah.
And sometimes if it don't happen fast enough, I'm gonna get in there and just do it. Like, yo, we're gonna do it together.
Yeah.
But I'm ultimately doing it for you, type of thing, because I want to see you win. So I'm like, so let's see you win. But I told you what to do. So let's see you win, and everybody wins. Yay!
Let's do it. It's teamwork makes the dream work.
Man,
I mean, teamwork does make the dream work, and as a couple who's in business and in ministry together, just like you guys. I think it's important. You know, one of the keys that I think that you guys said is that you guys had your identity beforehand.
Yeah.
And that at times can be difficult individually, trying to find your identity. You know, when we got married, we were in our 20s, and so who knows who they are in their 20s?
Exactly.
Kidding me? You know, I don't care what kind of degree you got. You know, I don't care where you've traveled. Who knows? You know, who really knows themselves in their 20s?
and go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No,
So
like,
I mean, the identity piece to be able to individually know who you are, whether, again, like you said, whether it's business, whether it's ministry, whether it's any sort of relationship, when you're getting involved with people, I think it's really, really important to identify who you are, or at least be on that journey.
Yes.
You know?
And I think we were in an odd space as well, and maybe y'all can identify this because there's so many things that we were, like you said, identity was big for us because we were coming out of maybe the expectations of others before we got together, right?
Yeah.
And trying to bring that together. And we started talking through really early on our desires, but actually making it work. And we were in this really strange place because we were in a I guess we were in a gap generation, right? So in that space, in that particular gap, we had expectations we were trying to come out of living up to.
Yeah.
And definitely pursuing our own dream, and still at the same time really being cognizant of those who are watching us behind us. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
And it was a lot to balance because we were very active. When our main job when we first got together was working together in ministry. Like that's all we did. But a lot of the I guess the challenge came from being so together in ministry because people were like, I don't understand why y'all spend that much time together. I'm like, this is actually healthy for us because we're very new and we really want to figure out how this works for us. And it was interesting to get that type of feedback or criticism. I mean, I'm so critique. This critique sounds better.
Yeah.
Because it was coming from a place of, I guess, genuine concern.
Right.
But I was like, we haven't lost our individuality. We're just trying to figure out how to make this thing work because in our mind, I think we always knew we wanted to do more together outside of ministry.
And that's something that we definitely dealt with as well. We got married. We were college students. We had one car. So you talking about always being together.
Yeah.
You know, we drove together,
know.
got dropped off.
We've
We were
been
in
there.
ministry. Yeah. I would say 2 months after we got married, we were in ministry together. And then 2 months after that, business together. So honestly, just like you're saying, it helped us. It really did.
It helps
we
you.
can count the number of times where we've literally made up in the middle of a ministry moment or in the middle of just working together.
Been there as well.
God has graced us to help us through some things.
And she was more acclimated to that way of living, that lifestyle. Me being the only child, that took some time to get adjusted to.
To sharing
To
your time.
You know, I thought I was a person who shared, but when I met her, like, God told me you got a little bit more work to do. So, and so getting used to that, you know, always being around each other, always talking, always being in the same room and sharing my thoughts. it's like, it was difficult, but I had to learn, guys, give me the grace to really push through that, but it was difficult.
Yeah, man. And just like God told you that you had a little more work to do. Oftentimes in our community, we have a little bit more work to do financially. And as such, this portion of the show is sponsored by the Houston Housewives of Finance. Did you know that only 4 states in the United States offer financial education? 33% or more than 77 million Americans don't pay their bills on time. 39% of Americans carry credit card debt from month to month, and 39% of adults say they don't have enough savings. Don't become one of these statistics. Let Houston Housewives of Finance advise you on increasing your cash flow and becoming your own money manager by scheduling your complimentary personal financial strategy. Contact Houston Housewives of Finance today at 1-844-700-4463 or email us at info@houstonhousewivesoffinance.com. Ask how you can participate in a complimentary, that means free, financial literacy workshop near you. Houston Housewives of Finance are the new faces, some pretty faces, of the new age of financial services. Get your coin in order.
Please
we need you to do that. Politically, we need you to do that.
Yes.
For your families, we need you to do that. For your houses of worship, we need you to do that.
Amen.
Money is power. For the love of money can be the root of all evil, but it also answers all things. So get your house in order. So, back to what you guys were saying. Bless you, baby. Back to what you guys were saying. I love that you had a nuanced and a kind of a trademark approach to your relationship. Oftentimes, whether it's business, whether it's in a group setting in school, or even in a romantic relationship, we try to pattern ourselves after what we've seen. There's wisdom in that, right? But there's also folly in that as well. So talk to us about your whatever context you want, whether it's professional or business, or professional or personal. But talk to us about how you guys cultivated that relationship, balancing that whole, well, I'm going to take this wisdom piece, I'm take this nugget, and I'm going to apply it, or I'm not, or I'm going to throw what they said. Like what was that like for the Kellys?
For us, it's a lot about eating the meat, throwing away the bones. We were the only young couple at the time. When we got married, we were 23. There was nobody else around us that was married.
Wow.
So the next married couple that we would like hang with or even know was like 40s, 50s, right? So we didn't have anybody around us. Yeah. So a lot of what we received good wisdom, but we're millennials. Yeah. We wanted to have a good time. We still wanted to have fun. So one of the things that we did was anything as it related to the word that could be traced back to the word, we absolutely clung to. It's one of those things that you can't fight against the word.
Right.
So things that they would talk about is about respect, about honor, about making sure that we spend even time together and putting each other first. These are the things that we definitely made sure that we held on to. And then for the other things, when it said having a good time, we love to travel.
Come on, get on that plane.
That's our ministry right there. Listen.
That's something that we always wanted to do, So we sat down, and we had one of the things that we stuck to that I know a lot of people, I guess you can say of our age, don't really do these days, is counseling. Like, we sat down with a counselor. We did premarital and marriage, like going through the marriage counseling. Right. Still to this day, we just go to counseling, not because anything is wrong, but just like you go to the dentist to get checkups, make sure you're healthy. That's what we did. So that definitely kept us on the straight and narrow.
Yeah, and just also making sure that we don't get too accustomed to one another and too comfortable and complacent. One of the things that we keep in mind is that we continue to learn each other, and when she shifts, I shift. When she change, I change, and I'm always inquiring about who are you today. I know that we change every day. We change our minds. We change our thought patterns, and so whenever I begin to see that, I notice that in her, I begin to inquire, okay, what are you feeling? What are your thoughts? I know that you know, something's different. I know that you wearing this today, and your style is changing. What's going on, and keep me up to date on who you are. And so and that reciprocates, and we continue to just love each other and learn about each other and grow with each other, and also just making sure that we keep God first. It gets difficult at times, and you have to go to the source to make sure that your strength. You get strong each and every day. So
I think that's really amazing, because that's one of the things that we're we're learning and we're growing. I mean, like I said, we've been together probably a little bit longer than you guys have, but it's one of those things that, you know, even up until now, recently, you know, we're going through that different transitions. And I tell people all the time, you know, who you marry, whenever you marry them, you can't expect them to be the same person. Correct. 5, 10, 15 years down the line, because everyone should be evolving and growing. Growth is good. Should be. Yeah. Change is not necessarily a bad thing. That's, you know, right. You can't expect people to stay the same way forever. And I mean, areas where, and I'm, you know, Kaylin, you can definitely jump in on this, areas where I know Kaylin has seen me be my strongest in years past. I've been very, you know, I've been transitioning because I've been a lot more vulnerable, you know, recently, because I'm a lot of things that are happening around me. I'm like, okay, you know, how am I handling this? And I'm used to being the more strong person. And so, you know, it's one of those things that I wanted to share with, you know, especially with another married couple. When we talk about marriage and business, we had recently had an interview with a magazine about this, and like this, and it's something that people need to see. You know, combining marriage and business is not a bad thing. Right. A lot of people just have not figured out their sauce, so haven't figured out how to make it work because they're so focused on maybe the bones and not the meat. You know what I'm saying? Right. Or I, you know, it's like, or I call it like the canned goods in the pantry. You know, when you go to the store, you don't eat every canned goods you buy. You put it in there for a rainy day. Some things you just don't pick up until you need it. Right. And a lot of times people are really grasping for wisdom that doesn't fit their dynamic at all. And you have to really figure out what your dynamic is, especially not just for marriage, but just for relationships in general. What is your dynamic, and what are you willing to do to make sure that it works? Yes.
And I want to touch on something that you said, that, you know, you're evolving, you find yourself changing and adjusting. One of the things that we also learn is that a lot of times people are so they want to keep their identity, they want to keep themselves and who they were for so many years. But what we realize is that there's a blessing in changing and becoming one and changing for that other person. Yes. And so I may lose some parts of me. You know what I mean? But it's okay. Good. It's okay. You know, I'm losing parts of me for the better. Absolutely. So that I can take on parts of her, so that we're more sensitive to each other and more connected. Absolutely. So if you know, people say I'm losing myself, it's okay. Like, you don't have to hold on to yourself. Like you weren't always supposed to be who you were. You losing yourself to become more of a person for your spouse. Absolutely. And more just complimenting them and things like that. So.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that's so amazing, man, about the losing yourself piece, right? Because one thing that I jokingly say is, I say marriage is two crazy people trying to become one sane person. Yeah. Yes. Right. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Because, you know, it mixing everything, all of your idiosyncrasies, all of your faults, all of your fears, all of your joys, all of your everything that God made you to be, what you have subscribed to in your life. In order to become one person, and it's a challenge. It's difficult. It's a beautiful nightmare. It's a wonderful journey to go on. And so, but we also want to talk to some people online, and ask them if they go on a journey with us, right? Yeah. Facebook Live, what's up, man? We appreciate you guys checking us out. And we want you to subscribe to our show on all the major platforms, including, listen up now, iTunes. What up, Apple? We ain't not worried about you. Play. You Google folks, whatever. YouTube, Stitcher. Exactly. Review our show at iTunes with constructive feedback, and share this post and the entire show with your family and friends, and donate to our mission to bring enriched and inspiring content each and every week. You can donate at www.thesphere.tv/. That's the one that links to the right. Donate. We appreciate all you guys checking us out. Ebony, what up? Ebby. What's going on? We appreciate you. Dorian.
Black Prestige in the building.
Black Prestige, what up, man? Love you, bro. Who else we got? We got just so many other people.
It's people that don't say anything, but I know they're looking like Latrice. Hey, Treese.
Yeah.
Sharon, listen, make sure you guys stay tuned when this one drops. Make sure you subscribe to the show.
We have calling guests. So what a calling guest. We have
Jackie Weathers, we appreciate
lines,
you.
People get the line.
Make sure you tune into the show or subscribe rather, so you can get the show when it drops. So we'll see you soon. But yeah, you know, that piece, man, in growing and going is so important. And we're hinging on marriage, but for those of our viewers and listeners who aren't married, it's the same thing when it comes to business, right? Yes. It's the same. You may not be, if you're a successful business person, you know how to adjust with the market.
That's correct.
You know how to adjust. You know how to shift. You know how to change. You know how to And that's what we do in marriage as well.
Yeah.
We shift, we adjust, we change, because the context in which you're doing marriage or I'm sorry, business, and the context of your marriage will change depending upon finances, depending upon
Absolutely.
children. Listen, we finding out children right now.
Right.
Right.
We're finding it out right now that things change, and
Yeah.
and it's for the better. I think that's a strong piece, man.
Yeah.
That it dispels a myth, a false narrative that losing yourself is a negative or a derogatory thing. You may be losing yourself, but you're probably losing the worst parts of you and gaining the
Correct.
best parts of
That's
your
it.
spouse.
That's
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
That's
Or your
I-
business partner.
I want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, look here. All right, now we gonna end this show early.
But no, seriously though, that's real talk. I think that's the thing that has kept a lot of people from marriage because they're so scared of changing and losing, and whatever this ideal system situation where I have to be a certain type of person to be married.
Absolutely.
That society has, kind of told this lie. Like
Yeah.
society has told a lie that men have to be all the way together, and women have to be all the way together.
Correct.
And no one is really willing to do the gamble anymore.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, I know that I feel like I'm called to this person. There's a genuine connection to this
Yeah.
person.
Right.
A lot of people are just more like, I don't have, and they go down this list that's on this paper, right?
Right.
But I don't have this together. I don't have this much in my account. This is whatever. Nobody wants to deal with someone who's not together. I'm like, that's not all the way true, and it's really
Right.
not. Just really not.
And it's so interesting because you said gamble, and when you look at relationships, again, in any context, it's a gamble. It's a 50-50 gamble. Either it's going to work or it's not.
Right.
So if you're afraid of the gamble, why get into a relationship of any sort?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, and that to me, that's big. We're so quick to do a calculated gamble when there's nothing calculated about marriage except
There
for
you go.
well, let me stop. I'm about to say that S word that don't nobody want to talk about,
Right,
submission, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But and that's a whole different show. But I think it's really important that, again, as whatever relationship you're getting into, I mean, these guys drop some gems, and I need you to go ahead and rewind and hit scrub real quick and go back to what Dannie and TréVoy was saying. Seriously, go back and listen to what Dannie and TréVoy was saying about identity, about
Yeah.
being able to be malleable. That's so important in any relationship.
I think one of the things with that is it's so similar to how sometimes we come to Christ and we deal with Christ. Like, I know what keeps a lot of people from pursuing God all the way. It's like, oh, I need to get my things together. I don't want to pray because I need to get my stuff together. Or
I don't want him to see me
I don't want
like
him to
this.
see me like this. Or
Right,
I'm gonna start coming to church once I just settle some things down. And it's just
Right,
like
no, it just-
you need church to fix you. You need
Yeah.
Christ to fix you. You
Right.
need these things to help you become the person that you need to become.
Right.
And I think that one of the things that I'm really looking forward to in our marriage is who we become. Like,
Yeah.
even after the years that we've been together now, I can definitely say that he's made me a better person because of the God in him, right? And trusting the God in him will help me with that S word, that submission, right? Because I trust the God in him, so that when he comes to me and he's grooming me and he's sharpening me, though it doesn't always feel good, I can trust that he means good by me.
And also, what helps is because, yes, the wife is supposed to submit to the husband.
Come on, man. Please
But
say
as
it.
a man,
Please say it.
I'm supposed to also submit to my wife. So
Good.
me submitting to my wife is being an example of what submission looks like. So I can't expect her to be something that I'm not even showing myself.
Absolutely.
And so one of the things
good.
also that we have this preconceived notion of, we have this our life all planned out that this is going to be this way and this is going to be this way, but we don't even know. You know, we could just hope, but at the end of the day, it's in God's hand. And it's okay to step back and say, you know what, I would like for this to happen, but at the end of the day, I want it to be in your will. And so whatever you decide for it to happen, let it be.
There you go.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the truth right there. I'm like, it's no guarantee. You have a plan, but again, we talk about this all the time. We write our plans in pencil.
Yeah.
We write our plans on pencil because we have to be okay with change.
Yeah.
And we have to be okay with,
God erasing their plans.
it got to be okay with expectations having to be shifted because it might not have been rooted in the right thing, or the timing is off, or, and especially when you're dealing with another person and you've committed your life to them, seeing how they deal with certain issues helps give you strength as well, going through challenges and stuff like that. So it's a lot of things that go into marriage as in terms of relationships, marriage as a business, however people want to look at it. You know, I don't think it's necessarily a right or wrong way to do it, because the marriage is a partnership.
Right.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, it's a partnership.
For different terms for different entities.
For different terms, different entities.
Every marriage looks different.
Every marriage looks different, and you cannot try to pattern yourself after one specific type of marriage.
Right.
You have to figure out what your marriage is going to look like for you, because it, honestly, it's not, that's just one of those things. There is no secret ingredient, but what already has been mentioned here. You got to love, you got to submit, you have to be able to trust the God and the person that you're in, trust that they're, being called to whatever they're called to. And then you have conversations. Communication is key in relationships. So with that being said, Team Kelly.
Yes.
TK.
What causes or community focuses are you all passionate about together, and what are some of the things that y'all are pursuing individually?
Ooh. Okay. Which one you want to tackle first? Together?
Let's do the community.
Okay.
First, yeah.
Community, we have actually, that's part of our ministry, what we do. We've been serving as youth pastors for the last 4 years.
Okay.
And we are very passionate. My husband's a teacher. He'll tell you about that. But we love the youth. We love the young generation. And we really take it to heart in making sure that they have a good example of what doing life as a Christian looks like. Like, it's not boring, and it's not even tacky. Like, you can be cool, you can be fly, and you can love God, you can serve God. So we're really passionate about leading the young people and talking to them in a way that's respecting. I think so often that I remember being young, and when people say, "Oh, those young kids don't know anything," or they don't listen to anybody, that doesn't build anybody. That doesn't lift anyone up. So I just want to encourage them and let them know that they're heard. And then personally, I have a passion to really just help wives and women that desire to be wives. I love speaking, and I go around speaking in schools and churches and just different things, encouraging and teaching women on how they can be their best selves, and then how they can be the best wife that God has created them to be. If you're a wife, you're called to be a wife. So how we can do that well.
Absolutely.
And for me, I recognize at an early age that I am called to be a father to the fatherless. And that doesn't require you to be a youth or a teenager or what have you, but you can be an adult who grew up with the impacts and the effects of not having a father. And so what I've learned, being one of them as well, I grew up without a father, and I recognize some of the pros and cons that that can come and transpire from that. And I took what I dealt with at a young age, and I made it work out for my good. God has molded me to be a man who can also sow back and share my testimony with other individuals, and to also be a light and a resource to help those to get through those tough times, because it's hard. It's difficult, man. Not having a father, it can cause so many detrimental things in people. And so to help people not give up and not let that be a crutch, but still fulfill your purpose no matter what.
Absolutely.
That's absolutely important. And I think within all of that, ideally you want to get to this place where you having people, we bringing the joy back, bringing a smile back into people's lives, because being a parent or a parentless home or one parent absent, that definitely can snatch joy away from you. And this is a lot. It's just a lot that a lot of young men are dealing with that actually impacts our society. So shout out to y'all impacting the community.
God is good.
Father to the fatherless and wife to the wifeless and want to be wife, and showing people how to do that. So this portion of our show is sponsored by Elite Dental Wellness. At Elite Dental Wellness, our vision is to create a welcoming practice that will offer exceptional dental care and a lifetime of dental wellness. We are committed to the finest possible oral care and the overall health and well-being of our patients. Elite Dental Wellness are built upon a foundation of integrity, expertise, and service. Through our commitment to modern dentistry, continuing education, and a friendly atmosphere, we strive to make our patients feel that they are a part of our family. Dentistry can be scary, daunting, and uncomfortable. Dr. Baptiste and her team work tirelessly to ensure your comfort. Make your appointment today with Dr. Chandra Baptiste at Elite Dental Wellness by calling 713-789-8680. Again, the number is 713-789-8680. So, we're still here with the Kellys. Team Kelly in the building.
Greetings.
Greetings. Greetings in the name. Okay. We come to you with greetings in the name of the Father.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a lot going on in our society. A lot of things are happening. You know, we try to do what we call a society second. We never really do it in a second, so don't feel pressure.
All right.
Ever.
We try to. In my mind, originally this would be 90 seconds, but it never happens like that because there's so much happening in the society. But seriously though. So first, we want to talk about the month of April. The month of April, we just left March, and March was International Women's Month.
It was, and my birthday month too. Y'all didn't email me, man.
It was a lot of things that
upset.
happened in March. Beautiful things that happened in March. Now we're in April, and now our current commander-in-chief,
Celebrity in chief,
has dedicated this month to women again. But he's calling it, well, I shouldn't say women because it's not all women, but Trump declares April Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Now, I think it's a good idea to call it Sexual Assault Awareness Month. I think it's a great idea that he's trying to, we're calling attention to sexual assault because it has been a hot topic, right? It definitely has been a hot topic. A lot of people though were really questioning why is it happening now, considering he's in the middle of a sexual assault case. And so one of the things that we have to be very cognizant of, especially when we have media, so much media and so much, I don't know what the correct terminology is, but you know, we're getting a lot of information from a lot of different areas. A lot of the challenge here with this particular call for Sexual Awareness Month is, are we going to actually start seeing action in terms of how we deal with those who are being accused of sexual assault? Are we going to start seeing more fairness when it comes to sexual assault accusations? Are we, as a community, are we going to stop being biased about sexual assault? Because a lot of times we always look at women as victims and we never consider a man as a victim.
That's right.
And that's why I wanted to clear up, but it's not just a woman thing. It is a male and female. It's a human thing because sexual assault can happen to kids.
Right.
You know, we don't think about how deep sexual assault is.
So, you know, first off, you got to look at what it is, right? It's a political ploy. It's smoke and mirrors. It's trying to get back in the graces.
Optics.
It's the optics. It's trying to get back into the graces of those people with whom he has upset 75% of the country. And so, that's number one. I think it's a great thing to do. But in terms of, and I would love to hear you guys' perspective on this, in terms of will we see action, it's incumbent upon us as citizens. This is incumbent upon us as voters. This is incumbent upon us as community members to require and demand that action, right?
Yes.
Our leaders, our elected leaders are there because we put them there. So if they're not doing what they want, fire they behind.
Right.
It's just that simple.
A
right?
vote works.
Huh?
A vote
A
works.
vote works. Get rid of them jive turkeys, man, them jack legs. Because when you look at what happened in 2010 with the midterm elections with President Barack Obama, he was sent the message. The Democrats were sent the message that the Republicans were pissed off, and that's when Democrats lost the House and the Senate, right? I'm sorry, that's when they lost the Senate, not the House. I'm sorry, they lost the House and not the Senate. And President Barack Obama said, I quote, "I'm mad as hell because people didn't come out and show up, right?" And so this when you speak up, when you speak out, things can happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think one of the things on that, exactly what you're saying, what does that action look like? What does it look like? Do we just declare it a month and nothing be done, everything carry along the way that it's been carrying along? Or are there going to be new trainings happening?
Right.
Are there new programs that are happening?
Policies coming down the pipeline.
Policies, absolutely. What's going to make us aware? Are we going to see commercials? Are we going to see, to train even our mindset to know exactly what that looks like?
Right.
And then I would also speak on, some of the victim shaming that we do. We have to be careful of that because the social media will do that. They'll say, oh, you're just after the money, or oh, she's just doing this because of whatever, or he's just doing this because of whatever. In my opinion, is it all right to really, if a person is saying that I feel that I have been assaulted, is it my right to say, oh, this is just a joke, or no, that it's not? I think that we would also have to do some awareness there too.
Yeah. No, that's good. Victim shaming is really good.
And I think it really is a community effort because for so long, like I said, we've given made women the bearers of being victims of sexual assault, and a lot of times we raise our young men to actually not understand the boundaries and the parameters. You know, we always have an exception. Well, this is an exception because of this, and so there has to be a way that we retrain our community and our society to be sensitive to what it looks like. That, you know, no amount of money, you know, gives you a pass, and no, you don't get a pass because of your status, whether you're a school age person, you know, the music, I mean, whatever it is. And then at the same time, it is a double-edged sword, right? At the same time, we have to start training the young ladies, like you have to, and this is not all women, but you have to think about, when we talk about videos and music and things like that, are you looking like something that you don't want to actually encounter? That's another conversation, because a lot of times people don't know how to really read some of the coding that's in clothing. They don't know how to read some of the coding that's in messaging. Yes, you might want to just spend time with this person, but you don't need to spend time with them after a certain time wearing this blank blank blank. Not that saying that that's a thumbs up and a go ahead and a green light. That's absolutely not. But some people don't have the emotional cues to know, hey, let me shut this down, or when, you know, or maybe this is not, you know, some people just aren't that discerning. They don't pick up on, hey, this may not be a good idea, even though she's here. She says, because a lot of times when people spend time with, they're actually looking for relationship, not relations.
Right.
And that's a difference. You know, there's a difference, and we have to be able to talk about emotional cues in society.
And that's one of the things that I make sure that I have conversations with, in terms of when I'm working with youth at the church, and when I'm also working with youth at my school and being a teacher. I have those conversations when I see young men slapping young ladies on the behinds, and even vice versa, the young ladies slapping on the guys on the behind. I have those conversations like, look, you don't do that. You know, don't let a young man ever get comfortable enough to smack you on your behind and mistreat you and assault you like that. And don't do that, because because what you're doing is you're creating a pattern. You're creating this familiarity that's causing you to be comfortable with somebody, just any guy or any woman, just smacking on your behind. And then when they see that, when somebody else see that, they're going to do the same thing. And then you have to consider your family. You have to consider your mother. You know, would you want somebody to do it to your mother? Would you want someone to do it to your sister? Things like that. So, you know, I'm very cognizant in making sure that I'm having those tough conversations with you.
You know, for sure, but you have to connect the dots, right? I think that's one of the big issues, that the dots aren't connected. And one of the dots that isn't connected, and Kira, you may mention to that, is men receiving and being the victims of sexual assault. But even how to teach men what sexual assault really is.
Right.
Because as a 15-year-old boy, I'm going to be honest with you.
You lucky.
As a 50-year-old boy, if one of the fine teachers at school would have came hollered at me, that ain't assault to me.
Right.
That's
Right.
Like, I'm winning. I'm winning. You see me such and such? Ooh.
Yeah.
And then you go back to the locker room, go back to your homeboys, and talk about whatever that
You got some
happened.
cool points.
Yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? But when in reality, that's assault. So we don't even teach it the same
and
way.
as grown men, we have to stop praising young men for doing
Troy.
these things and say, oh, this is what men do, you know.
Absolutely.
And even women have been trained nowadays to say, oh, they just being boys. No, that's
Not okay.
Yeah.
It's not
No, it's not okay.
Yeah.
Why do you say mannish?
Right.
Man, I'm a man. I'm 36 years old. I'm a man. That ain't what mannish is like. What a man does. That ain't what a man
Those are
does.
the characteristics.
Come
of a
on,
man.
bro.
But it's a lot of training that goes into that. I mean, even I look at my daughter and I'm like, okay, you know, I have to tell her, like, don't hop on a man's lap. Don't, whatever. Don't run up into, not because she's a loving and affectionate young lesson, but you don't know who this person is.
That's correct.
And you have to train them. Be very kind boundaries, because you don't want anyone to ever say that that this person was asking for something. Like, you don't ever want it to be said that they didn't know their boundary because she hops on her dad's lap. You know what I mean? Like, and it actually starts at a very young age. Somewhere some of those boundaries should be created in the home, in the community, in the classrooms. What you're talking about, reiterating in the churches, and it's a lot of things that go into that. But we allow our television and our music and our other things outside to raise our kids and to raise our communities, and we expect a different outcome.
Yes.
And it's not happening.
Yes.
But we're gonna get back to that though. So I just I love that we're here on the Sphere, and this portion of our show is sponsored by the Sphere. Are you starting your business and looking for a place to advertise? Do you have a need to reach out to thousands of people across the world to build your brand or sell your product? If so, get your product placement and advertising needs handled right here at The Sphere. We offer a wide variety of content delivery platforms, including iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, Stitcher, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Spreakers, all them things. We own all
We
that.
in here, man.
We in that thing. Plus, we have a vast demographic reach within the United States as well as modern countries across the globe. Our enriched content and inspiring dialogue, coupled with your strategic ad, is surely to hit the mark every time. Call us today at area code 832-772-7789 or send an email over to advertise@thesphere.tv. Again, the number is 832-772-7789 or email at advertise@thesphere.tv. Get your product placement handled.
I mean, put it right here.
Get your show aired.
Like put it boom, and you just see it.
I
just,
mean, bam, because this
just
is what
Vanna
we doing.
Blackish.
Yes.
We own all the hot things. Amazon.
absolutely.
We got you, boo. Okay.
You got it together.
Yeah.
We got you, boo. But no, seriously though, so it's a lot. I think that with this April being kicked off as this is the first time in the Sexual Awareness Month, what I noted, and I don't know if you noticed this, Kaylin, when we first started talking about this, when I noticed it at the beginning of the month, I also noted with that was the conversation that Bill Cosby is being retried. Now it's interesting that he's being retried now.
Right.
After we've had all this stuff happen in the past months. We've seen, the Harvey Weinstein stuff and Me Too campaigns. And we were even discussing how it's interesting how no one spoke out about all these injustices while Mr. Cosby was going through what he was going through.
Or Mr. Weinstein.
Or Mr. Weinstein. But I'm saying it was interesting. Nobody talked about Harvey Weinstein while Bill was going through what he was going through. It was interesting.
Correct.
Now, all of, and that was everybody's sentiment. Now he's being retried.
Correct.
And part of the thing that I heard the judge say was that the prosecution, initially the judge was like, well, it's unfair, because the statute of limitations had ran for a certain amount of time. So we'll only let one person come and bring a case.
Right.
Well, prosecution in recent months, because of now the political climate, the social climate, came and said, well, we think it's unfair and we need to adjust case law. I'm going to say case law, and I might be really misquoting, but I'm paraphrasing. To include other persons who want to join in. Right. So now the judge is allowing, I think, four more persons, because the prosecution said something to the effect of, well, it's more probable that if more than one person said it, it probably did happen. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know how to read that because, that could go both ways. Right. It could be absolutely true. Right. It could be absolutely untrue. Right. Because there is a thing called collusion.
That's absolutely. I was just about to say that.
Yeah. So they're bringing up the fact that he was accused of something in 2006 and he paid civil settlements. And this is one thing I always consult with people, or that's my counsel. If you don't feel like you're guilty for anything, don't put any money on the table. Yeah. Because these things don't go away. You might be able to lock it up and seal the record, but the fact that the payment was made is not sealed. Right. The terms of the agreement can be sealed and of course later on unsealed. Right. So this is what they're hanging right now as of today when they started the retrial, which is he made a payment to one of the accusers in 2006. So I don't know how we feel about this, how it's related to the Sexual Assault Month awareness. What do we think about what's happening as it relates to this case? Because we're seeing this man, he's in his 80s now, right? He's pretty much, he's gone.
Yeah.
One of the things that I was hearing and I even thought of is that they were saying how it's going to be really hard to find jury that hasn't necessarily been affected by all of this climate that we've had with the Me Too movement.
But they said they're going to let whoever's heard it, they're going to let whoever, it doesn't matter. So wherever they're hearing the case is where they're going to pull a jury from. Yeah. There's no need to. There's no way to find an untainted jury, which is another problem.
That's exactly what I'm saying. When it's kind of like when you say, what color are you thinking of? But you have a person walk in a room that's red. Then they walk in another area and there's a red curtain. And then they walk somewhere else. You're wearing red lipstick. Yeah. And then you're like, for some reason, I'm just thinking of red.
Right. You've seen it in 45 different spots prior to the question.
Exactly. Red just popped up in my head. So that's not to say whether he's innocent or guilty one way. It's just unfortunate that it's not in the best situation.
Yeah, how do you guarantee due process at this point?
Exactly.
How do you guarantee due process of law at this point? Because we have, even though the culture is guilty until proven innocent,
Right.
especially amongst people of color,
Right.
We're actually on the books. We're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, and so again, there may be merit to more than one accuser, as you said, Kira. There may not be merit to more than one accuser. We don't know. But again, how do you? And it's rhetorical. But how do you guarantee at this point in due process of law for Dr. Cosby? I just don't see it.
I don't think there is.
I just don't see how you can do it fairly.
I don't think you can do it. I think it's just unfortunate that, again, I feel like the timing of it, I always look at stuff from a very different perspective. Okay, so the timing of it is interesting. The fact that they were able to have all of this, it's easy when you see that the climate is set for something.
Right.
It's easy to bring a case about it and say, hey, I think we should retry this person based on this, this, and this. And as you can see, clearly people have an issue with injustice.
Yes.
Because what Kaylin is saying, it's hard to have a conversation about it without using the word justice.
Yes.
We want everybody to get their just due, and even if it means that possibly innocent people are being accused, even if it means that this person is going to go through this again and it might end up in another mistrial, another hung jury. They're not looking at it like that. It's just, again, somebody accused someone of something and we're looking for a resolution, but the resolution is never going to be enough. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's never going to be the right resolution. So I just thought I'd bring that up because I thought it was interesting that it's happening right now during this month. Okay, let's talk about something exciting. Hey, all my Wakanda people out there. Okay.
Wakanda
Wakanda forever. So Black Panther is now the highest grossing superhero film of all time. It passes 2012's Avengers. It has surpassed the Titanic, being number 3.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah, because Titanic was up there for 20 years, y'all. So I remember going to see Titanic. And so, so it has made major moves. So a lot of people are like, what's going on with, why haven't we seen any toys for Black Panther?
Right.
And
I'm waiting for the Disney,
a
whole separate area at Disney World.
It was so funny. So I remember when the movie first came out, one of the things that I read was a lot of times when they don't think that it's going to do well, they don't necessarily do the testing of the different toys and the demoing. So they didn't put any money into it. So we may not be seeing any Wakanda Forever, T'Challa, and all that. Killmonger might not be seen until they do a Black Panther 2. It's not happening right now, y'all. So I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad, but the truth of the matter is, people know where the heck are the toys. They not coming right now, y'all.
Oh my goodness!
Although we busted the box,
all those cheering, they
all
had
those
the
cheering.
costumes, and
but
everything.
I think this is my thought. People, this is an opportunity. Make your own.
There you go.
That's what I was just thinking. Manufacture.
Find something. Now's the time to film. I mean, the market is right
your
for
business.
it.
There you go.
Start your
Go
business.
and get a coloring book together.
You know what's really?
I'm just saying.
Facts. You know what's really?
Yeah.
You know what's really dope about it though is if we get a group of and listen, I'm for my people, so I'm gonna talk about my people. If we get a group of dope African American attorneys, right, to go in and figure out a loophole to be able to get the licensing agreement for certain things, then get a toy maker, an African American toy company, then get an African American publishing company, and then next thing you know, we have the rights to do all of this stuff for ourselves. It can be done,
and you can essentially start from a stuffed animal. I'm sure we got some people that sew and
do
all that.
Like
Just
you
take
said,
some
a coloring
fabric.
book.
It's a lot of ways to do this. I think we
is.
have to. I think the larger conversation is. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with waiting for stuff to happen, but don't always wait.
There you go.
You see an opportunity. You seize it, right? And you see there's a gap. There's clearly a need. People want it. I mean, there was no costumes. People was going out there creating Black Panther masks.
Like somebody that's in design literally go make you instead of us using that whole thing as the emoji. The emoji that's the Wakanda actually make.
And that's what makes a successful business is that having a business that's meeting people's need.
Absolutely.
You see a high need and desire for this, then take it upon yourself and initiative to make it happen.
Absolutely. And then the conversation, it's ever evolving. It's a lot of things with this Black Panther conversation. It was the conversation people are like, well, I don't understand why the Black Panther was not a part of the Avengers advertising and marketing because he plays a role in it. You know what I mean? That's part of that conversation. It's kind of like it's what appeals to the masses.
Absolutely.
So if you really want to be impactful, you're going to either have to say, hey, we want to see more things with people that look like me in front of it, or we're going to start creating our own, or however that looks. But it's a testament to show you that a lot of times we need to push our things forward. And because we pushed it forward, we saw the result, right?
Absolutely.
So now the conversation is elevated to like, okay, now we're looking for some vibranium candy, and we're looking for an area in Disneyland and Walt Disney World that has a little a whole car that flies up on the little thing. Like we're looking for that with lights underneath it. Like we're looking for that. We're looking for that next thing. Kalen looks like he has so much he wants to say.
I go into creative mode.
I was
I got like 6 things in my brain right now.
He was like,
that I have to.
And as an artist, people are wondering, how can you be successful as an artist? This is your opportunity.
Man, come on.
To show your creation, show your talent, and produce something that is going to change the world.
There's money to be made, even in art.
Absolutely.
I just have to say it's something that the Lord shared with me a long time ago. He was like, there's never not going to be enough money.
There you go.
That everyone couldn't get it. It's just that the poor will always be with us because it's not just being in poverty. It's just poor of mind.
There you go.
And poor in spirit.
And just for the lack of knowledge.
Yeah, and it's not that everybody couldn't share in it. It's just some people don't have. It could be lack of support, but some people just don't have the mental aptitude to go after certain things.
That's true.
Right.
And so it's not that, people are just taking. It's just there is money to be made. Anytime we just talked about this recently, Nas sold a doorbell and got $40 million.
$40 million.
Right.
A
$40 million payday.
Wow.
For a doorbell.
A doorbell with a camera.
You know what I find interesting is as much
he
as
ain't
people
made no records.
may not have the will and their knowledge, statistics are showing that we're number one, that we're the largest body of generation that has ever been entrepreneurs.
Oh, absolutely.
And that the generation after us, they're saying like 91% of them are going to be entrepreneurs. They got to make something.
Well, it's going to be out of necessity for sure, because nobody's going to be hiring like
there you
that.
Go.
Right. And what we also have to do is get out of this mindset of me, I, and trying to do it yourself. We need to adapt to the mindset of partnership, and so that we can grow. It's a strength of community. Let's stop trying to do things individually and come together and say, hey, I got this idea, you got these resources. Let's come together and produce something that's going to change the world.
Plans fail for a lack of counsel, right?
And it's one of the things that Kayla and I talk about all the time. We always try to figure out, like, okay, who do we need to connect with? What does it look like? What is our what does it look like? What does our terrain look like? Okay, Lord, show us or send us or on this path. Like we believe in path. Like the path that you put it before is put the right people on the path that we can connect, partner, to build, because it's not, you can't do everything by yourself. Right. And ideally, if you're trying to do everything by yourself, you're probably going to fail at something.
For sure.
Yeah.
That comes from a place of selfishness and the fear of something being taken from you,
right?
Which is a whole nother level of generational hurt, right?
Right.
It comes. That stuff comes from a place. It comes from a place. People, some stuff that your parents done told you, your grandma done told you, like just hoarding. But not realizing you're hoarding your gifts. You're not giving what you're supposed to give. So that's interesting, but. We still moving forward though. What we got? Okay, so I want everybody to talk about Melissa Harvil LeBron. Her last name is LeBron. So she's not LeBron James, but her name is Melissa Harvil LeBron, and she is the first Black woman to own a NASCAR team. Wow. Come on, y'all.
Congrats.
One clap for that.
Yes. One clap on her. So she's the Black excellence is coming. We coming for everybody. We coming for we listen. We gonna strategically do this thing.
There you go.
It's gonna be a horizontal then vertical, and we're gonna make this thing happen because we were really going for this is good. We were really going for NBA, NFL, and things that are more visible.
Right.
There you go.
She saw opening as something that a lot of people don't pay attention to,
and something that's more predictable too.
It's more predictable, but also absolutely more predictable. But also, it's something that's less Black.
There you go.
You see, and that's where it's really
breaking some barriers.
That's where exactly. That's where it really becomes powerful, is because I want to say it's like 0.7% of NASCAR employees are African American.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Whereas you look at NBA, is
Yes.
87%, something like that, 87, 80,
Right.
80+%
Right.
the players are black or of African descent, right?
Right.
Football is in the 60s as well. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
But when you look at golf, and in terms of golf and NASCAR, and hockey, those are the ones where we don't exist.
Right.
Yes.
And so now we have black ownership. And again, when
Love
you
it.
own something,
There you go.
you employ people.
Yes.
Right? You're paying salaries.
Yes.
Right. You're able to invest into communities. And
Yes.
so that's an amazing thing.
That's
and
beautiful.
NASCAR makes money.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
That's what I said. I
Yes,
think
sir.
Endorsements. And
All of that. I was gonna
Oh,
say
yeah.
these
my
endorsements.
God.
Oh, yeah.
I think-
What?
I think what we're learning, like I said,
Put your
this-
stick on a put a company put their stick on the mirror for like $55,000
Yes.
a month or
A
something. It's just
sticker.
crazy.
But I think, like I said, this is different because now we're learning how to look at stuff from a different perspective because
Yeah.
we're so quick to want to jump on everything
Right.
that's already been done before
right.
Right.
and not look for the opportunities for things that are untapped markets.
Right.
Because for us, this is an untapped market.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't think about NASCAR. Nobody was thinking about NASCAR. I mean, I remember we had a conversation about NASCAR when we thought NASCAR was coming here.
Right.
And that plan was
Yeah,
halted out,
Yeah.
but it's not something that people do. Now we need to start elevating everybody's kind of like, what's the conversation? What are other places that you're interested in? Okay, you like sports, but are you into all sports? Are you
Yes.
willing to look at some other stuff? Because of course
Yes.
you might want to own a team or be a part of a team, but is this market for us?
Right.
And
I
then
mean-
you have to be into it to own it.
Right.
I mean,
because I don't play none of these sports.
right.
But I definitely have the mind for be strategic, administrative, and things like that. I have the
Business.
business. I have the mind to be like, okay, I know what needs to go on behind the scenes to make
Right.
this thing continue to be
Right.
elevated and fruitful. So I
I
just
can
think
even say I knew nothing about photography.
and that's important.
Nothing about even art before I got married. So now we have a business together. Sure, I learned the ropes. Sure, I learned it, but it still has nothing to do. I'm not physically taking pictures. That doesn't mean that I can't be a partner.
Integral part of it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's
And you got to put yourself in a position where you're a rare jewel than a common stone.
come on,
You know, you
Hold on.
Tweet
baby,
that.
record it, baby.
I got 2% on my phone. I can't even do it. I got to remember that one though.
no, but you
We'll
know,
play it back. We'll play it back.
Yeah.
Golly, that was good.
but you have some qualities that are in you that God has placed in you, not to be a common essential thing to that has been already been done, but you have to tap into those purposes and things and gifts that God has given you that cause you to stand out. He's not causing you to be like amongst the others. He's causing you to stand out. But a lot of times we get discouraged, because we want to be more popular
That's good.
than anything else. In this day and age, in this society, we're driven by popularity opposed to purpose.
That's good.
That's really
That's
important.
another one.
And I think that's a conversation that's ongoing because we have a inside thing that we always talk about how many people were necessary for us to have on our timeline for us to be credentialed enough to do certain things.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate because that's how people view as, okay, this person has 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 followers. And it's like, okay, but I'm so much more than my following
There you
because
go.
these people follow me, but I don't know these folks.
Right.
Like,
But
I
how
don't
about
have
this?
500
Right.
friends.
They
I probably
follow
have
you.
10.
Right.
They follow you, but are they making the money?
No, I'm like, I need checks. I
Right.
mean, not that, but I do
You
want
right.
my 7-8 streams of income. And I'm
Right.
like, and this is not getting me there.
Will Smith is a millionaire. He didn't even have an Instagram before
He
just
got
a
an
few
Instagram
months
a month ago, and I'm like, his Instagram is popping,
Yeah.
but he's just being his authentic self.
That's
Sure.
it.
He did something that apparently everybody. When Will Smith started doing it, that's when that Instagram feed video really started getting hot
The
because
responsibility trending.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
he was just making those videos all the
Yeah.
time, like because people weren't using
Dropping
it as
knowledge.
frequently as he was doing.
That's
and he
true.
was like that because he wasn't really posting pictures.
That-
Like
he wasn't.
It's like a lot of videos on his feed. There ain't no pictures.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
it's Will Smith. He's a
It's Will,
character.
but he's also very knowledgeable. So
He
shout
is.
out to Will Smith.
Shout out
Yeah,
to the
for sure.
wisdom.
So what you got to say, babe?
No, I'm over it. I'm over.
I
my,
see
my
you pondering.
My brain is going 1,000 miles.
What's on
Which
your
means we're
mind,
gonna
man?
have a session tonight.
Yeah, we are.
We got to pull out the flip chart, whiteboarding it up.
There you
y'all,
go.
The Sharpies.
1,000 miles a minute. Man.
So that's a good thing.
Yeah, it is.
Creative juices.
yes,
Creative
brother.
juices. That's a good
We're
thing.
gonna have some Wakanda
That's-
stuff, huh?
Man, listen, we about to go beyond that. Go even beyond that.
A Wakanda clothing line.
Yeah.
Listen, forever.
Forever.
I got you.
I don't know
with
what's
you, man.
happening.
I'm
but
with
we are
you.
so happy that y'all joined us today for this episode of Society
Yo,
Now.
my mind is blown right now, fam. Like,
he is all over, but in a good way. And we're just, again, we're happy that we could have the Team Kelly with us today. They
our
talked
pleasure to
about
be here.
the photography company, talked about what they do in their communities and ministry together. But of course, their marriage is a ministry and it's a light to so many people. So tell everyone how they can follow you guys again.
Absolutely. You can follow me at Dannie C. Kelly on Facebook and on Instagram.
And you can follow me at TréVoy Kelly on Facebook and TréVoy Kelly Photography on Facebook and Instagram.
So on all social media platforms, it's
We
about the
there.
same.
We
That's
there.
it. You better
Be
follow
sure to
them.
like,
We trying.
comment, subscribe. We talk back to you.
Oh, you gotta talk back to the people. I need to be more active. I need to find someone. This is a call to action. If anyone's here, or not even, you don't have to be here, but we're looking for persons that will help us do some things. So if you are interested in helping Kaylin and I launch some stuff,
Connect.
holla at us,
There you
send us
go.
an email, and we'll get back to you.
Slide in them DMs.
Well, I mean, okay, well, or send me slide into my DM on
There you
Instagram.
go.
Slide into that DM at the Modern Day
don't be
Cindy.
too
and
slippery.
Right. I knew it was
Modern Day
coming. I
Cindy
knew it was
at-
coming.
Oh my God! Slide into my DM on Instagram at the Modern Day Cindy. And that's Cindi, not with a Y.
And you can holler at your boy at Senior Wapo 713, or go to my blog, my website, SeniorWapo713.com. Holler at me on Instagram, Facebook, the Twitter. Even though I'm not really on it that much, but I still can get with you. We appreciate you guys coming.
Thank you for
and
having
hanging out
us.
with
It
us,
was a
man.
good
This was
time.
so fun. This
Likewise,
hour goes by
man.
so quickly.
Oh, man.
Yeah. But we love y'all and we thank y'all, and we'll
Love y'all
see
too.
y'all
Next week.
next week.
Peace.